Hola amigos, welcome back. Vicente Yante back with another video. And the DVD reviews are back, baby. Before we get started with that, let me show you guys my new TV. A lot better than that small ass TV I used to have, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, alright, so this is going to be the 2008 DVD pay-per-view collection review. So before I get started, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Although I did notice I did lose some subscribers. I noticed that the other day. I lost like 2 of them. You know, I think what it all boils down to is if you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, then you're not. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. You know, it is what it is. You like my content, that's good. If not, then don't waste your freaking time. Anyway, so let's get started with the WWE 2008 DVD pay-per-view review. This is actually a re-record of the previous video that I've done with this one, because I did record another video, but I didn't upload it simply because I was not happy with the final product. It was too noisy in the background, and yeah. But anyway, let's get on with it. Let's not waste any more time. First off, we have the Royal Rumble 2008. Yeah, this is a really good show. It emanated from Madison Square Garden. You had really good show. You had Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. You had Ric Flair versus MVP. Edge versus Rey Mysterio. John Cena wins the Royal Rumble match, which people were not too happy about. Wah, wah, wah. Haters gonna hate. I like John Cena. He's cool. Really good show. And here's the back. I always try to show the back of every DVD, just so you know what it looks like, in case you want to buy it yourself. I'm sure people are probably like, why you buy DVDs when you have the Peacock network? Yes, I know. I'm a collector at the end of the day. Alright. Next up is No Way Out 2008. Now, as you can see, the cover star Jeff Hardy, who is actually no longer with the WWE as we speak today, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, it's No Way Out. I like the logo for No Way Out. It's pretty badass. You have Randy Orton versus Cena. You have Edge versus Rey Mysterio. And this is the night when the Big Show made his return to WWE, pretty much signifying his match against Mayweather. You also have Elimination Chamber matches for each show, for each brand. You had Raw and SmackDown Elimination Chambers. For SmackDown, you had Batista, Undertaker, Finlay, MVP, Big Daddy V, and Great Khali. And for Raw, you had Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, Chris Jericho, JBL, and Umaga. And you had Kennedy versus Ric Flair. We had Cena versus Orton, like I pointed out earlier. And good show. Really good show overall. And, yeah. Alright, now we have WrestleMania 24. There was a Blu-ray release of this, but it's kind of hard to find now because it's very rare. That was the first ever Blu-ray for WrestleMania. But I didn't have a Blu-ray. I didn't have a Blu-ray player at the time, so yeah. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. Edge versus Taker, Cena, Orton, and Triple H, Big Show and Mayweather. Pretty cool. Oh, almost dropped it. Really good show. You had Batista versus Umaga. CM Punk wins Money in the Bank. Finlay versus JBL in a Belfast brawl. And Kane versus Chavo Guerrero, the ECW title. Yeah. Good show. Next up, we have Backlash 2008. I like the cover for this one. It's pretty cool. With the Undertaker. Sorry for the glare. It's the light. Fatal 4-Way for the WWE title. You had Triple H, JBL, Cena, and Orton. It was actually a Fatal 4-Way elimination style match. I just remembered. You had Taker versus Edge. You had Chavo Guerrero versus Kane. You also had Batista versus Shawn Michaels. You also had Big Show versus Great Khali. Really good show. Sorry if you hear voices. My grandma's on the phone. Sorry about that. But yeah, but it's a really good show. I really enjoyed it. Solid pay-per-view. This is the night when Triple H finally became WWE champion. Speaking of which, I'm sorry, speaking of next. Speaking of Triple H, he's the cover star of Judgment Day 2008. I don't know what the deal is with this outfit there. It looks kind of weird. It looks like a prison outfit. He's dressed up in orange. It looks like a freaking convict. He fights Randy Orton in a cage match on this show. Had Cena versus JBL in the opening match, by the way. That's kind of odd. You had, the cage match with Orton and Triple H was just excellent. You had Jericho versus Shawn Michaels in an excellent match. And afterwards, Batista would tell him that he's going to hurt Shawn Michaels in a backstage segment, which is funny because Batista did not wrestle on this pay-per-view, which I found kind of weird, seeing how he was a main player at the time. You had a tag team title match. It was CM Punk and Kane against Miz and Morrison, which I found kind of weird because Kane was the ECW champion, but it was what it was. This also marked the first pay-per-view for Mike Adamle as a commentator. I did not like him as a commentator. He was terrible. He would botch a lot. He was really bad. I think one time JR called him out on an episode of Raw. But really good show. A really good Judgment Day. Had Edge versus Undertaker. And I guess Undertaker had gotten the title stripped away from him by Vicky Guerrero. So, yeah. Good match between Edge and Taker. Always had good matches. All right, next up we have, speaking of Edge and Taker, they would finally have another match here. TLC match for the world title, where if Taker lost, he would get fired or he would get banished or whatever that stupid ruling was. You had Orton versus Triple H. Yeah, Edge and Taker, they've never had a bad match. They've always had good matches. Edge won this one. So, yeah. You got Big Show, Tommy Dreamer, John Morrison, CM Punk, and Chavo Guerrero, with the winner facing Kane at Night of Champions. It was a Singapore Kane match. I really enjoy these cover arts for 2008. It's pretty badass. Well, we'll get to the ones later on, which are not really that good. You had Cena versus JBL, first blood match. Jeff Hardy versus Umaga. This is a really good match. They actually fought outside into the parking lot. That was funny. That was pretty funny. And freaking Jeff Hardy does a swanton off of a 18-wheeler or something like that. Really good show. This actually I got for Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, guys, hopefully y'all have a Merry Christmas. I'm recording this on December 23rd, 2021. So, yeah. This is Night of Champions. I almost said Clash of Champions. This is Night of Champions 2008. There's Edge, Matt Hardy, Kane, Mickie James, Chris Jericho, and Triple H. These are the singles champions. Where are the tag champions? These are the singles champions. Where are the tag team champions at? Good grief. Speaking of which, we have all your matches here on the back. All the titles. It's funny, there was a match between Cody Rhodes and Hardcore Holly against Ted DiBiase and a mystery partner. Turns out the partner was actually Cody Rhodes. At Kofi Kingston versus Chris Jericho, you had Mickie James versus Katie Lee Burchill. Pretty good match. You had Miz and Morrison versus Finlay and Hornswoggle. You had Triple H versus John Cena in an epic battle from the WrestleMania 22 rematch. For the WWE title, you had Batista versus Edge for the world title. Matt Hardy and Chavo Guerrero for the U.S. title. A ECW title match with Big Show, Kane, and Mark Henry, where Mark Henry won. Mike Adamle, again, botching on commentary. No surprises there. I'm sorry, I think I'm picking on Mike Adamle too much. Sorry. Anyway. Solid show, all in all. Wait, oh, I had it over here, sorry. My fault. I pulled an Adam Lee right there. Okay, let me stop. Alright, next up is, I wasn't really too crazy about the Great American Bash logo. I didn't like it too much. I like the one that they had in 2005 and beyond. Or 2004 and beyond, sorry. Yeah, it's Cena versus Bradshaw in a parking lot, New York City parking lot brawl match. You had CM Punk versus Batista. Triple H versus Edge. Take a look at the back. And really nothing of noteworthiness here in the back. Good show. Tommy Dreamer versus Mark Henry for the ECW title. The theme song was a bit weird for this pay-per-view. It was a group called American Bang or something like that. I'm not shitting on the band. I just thought that the song that they chose with them was a really weird selection for a WWE pay-per-view. It's a really good show. Really good pay-per-view. And Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho had a very bloody match. And also, let me just point out, this is the final pay-per-view that was TV14. Because I think it's right here. It's not focusing, but you guys get the point. This was the final pay-per-view of the TV14 era. Then I think SummerSlam was when they finally went PG, which people hated. I know somebody would tell me back then, oh, well, WrestleMania was the final TV14. That's like, no. The Great American Bash was the final pay-per-view of the TV14 era. So, yeah, a lot of people have told me that they believe WrestleMania was the final TV14 pay-per-view, and I instantly correct them and say no, because Great American Bash was the final pay-per-view. Because if you remember, Shawn Michaels bled like crazy in that match. So, all right, speaking of which, here we go. Next up, we have SummerSlam 2008. Cover, pretty interesting cover here. I like it. It's pretty cool. Edge versus Taker in a Hell in a Cell match, which would finally end their rivalry. Undertaker got the win over Edge. And this was also Mick Foley's last night I take that back. Mick Foley had left the commentary booth a week prior, I believe. And he was replaced with Taz. So I've always liked Taz on commentary. He's cool. So good stuff. We also had JBL versus Bradshaw. JBL versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had Mark Henry and Matt Hardy, ECW title. Triple H and Great Khali for the WWE title. So yeah, the ECW title was still a mainstay in this point in time. Although ECW PG was not really what ECW really stood for. But all in all, great SummerSlam. Batista and John Cena had an epic match against each other. Really great match. Batista came out on the winning end. Speaking of Batista, there he is on the cover of WWE Unforgiven 2008. So this pay-per-view signified the Big Show's heel turn. Yes, I can't believe I'm using the terminology. I finally have embraced it. I hate it still. I still think it's shitty, but gotta go along with it, I guess. So, anyway, yeah, so Big Show sided with Vicky Guerrero, attacking The Undertaker. This was the night when CM Punk got taken out of the scramble match, because, this night was the elimination scramble matches, or whatever the hell they were called. Oh, championship scramble matches. Raw had one, ECW had one, SmackDown had one. For Raw, it was supposed to be CM Punk, but he was replaced with Chris Jericho. We had Chris Jericho, Kane, Rey Mysterio. Okay, so we had Kane. Okay, we had Kane, Jericho, Bradshaw, Batista. Okay, let me try to think. We had Jericho, Kane, JBL, Batista, and Mysterio. I think that's 5, hopefully. We had SmackDown. We had Jeff Hardy, Triple H, Shelton Benjamin, Brian Kendrick, and MVP. So, yeah, Brian Kendrick was actually a part of this pay-per-view. Yeah, because it was Triple H, Hardy, MVP, Kendrick, and Benjamin. Yeah. Then for ECW, we had Chavo, Miz, Mark Henry, Matt Hardy, and Finlay, I believe. And on this night, we also had Shawn Michaels versus Jericho, and a pretty violent match. It was pretty good. I liked it. Like I said, this was the night when Randy Orton punt kicked CM Punk in the head, pretty much getting him out of the championship scramble match. No Mercy was a weird cover. There's Jeff Hardy. I don't know what they're doing with him there. Looks like he's all taped up. But really good show. Triple H versus Jeff Hardy. And we also had Shawn Michaels versus Jericho. And Matt Hardy versus Mark Henry. Matt and Mark. We had Batista versus JBL. We had, what else? A Big Show versus Undertaker. That was a rather interesting match. Taker got KO'd, and that was the end of his match. All right, next up we have Cyber Sunday. There's CM Punk on the cover. I never really did care for CM Punk. The guy is a good wrestler, don't get me wrong, but I just never really cared for him overall. The whole straight edge bullshit, I didn't like it very much. Thought it was pretty lame, but whatever. To each their own. We had Batista versus Jericho with Steve Austin as the referee. We had Triple H. I think Triple H fought Jeff Hardy again. I haven't watched this in a while, and I forgot to look at the match results before I did the review. But nonetheless, just a regular Cyber Sunday. This would be the final Cyber Sunday pay-per-view for WWE, and they ditched it a year later, which we'll talk about that more in the 2009 DVD review when we get to that. Great show. I don't like the cover. It's a spoiler cover. There's John Cena with the world title. Yeah. This was the new. This marked the beginning of the new Survivor Series logo. Oh shit! Almost dropped it. John Cena versus Jericho. Edge, Vladimir Kozlov, and Triple H. And Taker versus Big Show in a casket match. Though this would not be their final match. They would finally have their final rivalry, like end off their rivalry in 2008, like in December when Big Show lost to The Undertaker in a cage. They did fight at Cyber Sunday, I forgot to mention. I forgot the match stipulation though, but anyway. Cena won the world title, as you can see. It's pretty evident. There was also some Survivor Series elimination matches. We had Team Batista versus Team Orton. For Batista, we had Batista, R-Truth, CM Punk, Matt Hardy, and Batista, R-Truth, Matt Hardy, CM Punk, and Kofi Kingston. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. And Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Mark Henry, Shelton Benjamin, and William Regal. And for Shawn Michaels versus Bradshaw, we had Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, Great Khali, and Crime Time against, it's a Crime Time, Shad Gaspard, and JTG. And for Team JBL, we had JBL, Kane, MVP, Miz, and Morrison. I can't believe I remembered all that shit. Anyway, there was some other match. There was a Divas match too, but I don't remember all of that. Alright. Okay. Now, finally, we have Armageddon 2008. We have Chris Jericho, and that face he's making looks evil. Anyway. He's pushing a button of something. I don't know what the hell that is. Looks like a bomb. It's the Gift of Jericho, man. It's Armageddon 2008. This is my favorite Armageddon. This is also the final one. And then, of course, a year later, they switched over to a different name for their December shows. Anyway. Speaking of which, WWE is not going to have a December show in 2021, which I think is lame. But whatever. You had Cena versus Jericho in a rematch from their Survivor Series match. You had Jeff Hardy versus Edge versus Triple H in a I guess you could say not a rematch, but yeah, because Jeff Hardy was actually out of Survivor Series. But this was when Jeff Hardy finally became WWE champion. I also had Batista versus Randy Orton. Great match. Really great match, actually. We had Finlay versus Mark Henry, Belfast Brawl. We also had Matt Hardy versus Vladimir Kozlov, which opened up the show. All in all, No Way Out 09, or No Way Out. All in all, Armageddon 08 was really good. I enjoyed it. I still pop it in every once in a while. I still watch it on Peacock. So, yeah, really good show. I really enjoyed 2008 Armageddon. This was like the last good pay-per-view. This is a really good pay-per-view to cap off the year, especially with Jeff Hardy getting the win. So, well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Let me know which was your favorite pay-per-view of 2008. And again, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Thank you for watching the video. In case I don't make a video on Christmas, you guys have a Merry Christmas. God bless, and I'll see y'all next time, and I'll talk to y'all later. Adios, amigos.